breaking the chains of Jezebel influence. In the bustling city of Elysia, where the noise of modern life often drowned out the whispers of the soul, lived a man named Adrian. He was a successful architect, a man of vision and creativity, but beneath his polished exterior lay a heart burdened by unseen chains. Adrian had always been a giver, a man who poured his energy into others, often at the expense of himself. This made him a target for those who sought to take rather than give, and none more so than a woman named Lilith. Lilith was captivating, her presence magnetic and her charm undeniable. She had a way of making Adrian feel seen, admired, and needed, but only on her terms. Their relationship began innocently enough, with shared interests and late-night conversations that felt like soul connections. But over time, Adrian began to notice subtle shifts. Lilith's admiration turned into demands, her charm into manipulation, and her affection into control. What Adrian didn't realize was that Lilith was under the influence of the Jezebel spirit, a manipulative, controlling force that thrives on domination and emotional entanglement. The Jezebel spirit had cloaked itself in Lilith's energy, using her as a vessel to ensnare Adrian. Its goal was to drain his light, disrupt his divine purpose, and keep him bound in a cycle of confusion and self-doubt. The red flags were there, but Adrian, ever the optimist, chose to ignore them. Lilith would criticize his work, subtly undermining his confidence. She would guilt him into prioritizing her needs over his own, leaving him exhausted and depleted. She even isolated him from friends and family, claiming they didn't understand their special connection. Adrian felt trapped, but he couldn't bring himself to leave. He believed he could fix her, save her, love her enough to change her. One night, after a particularly draining argument, Adrian collapsed onto his couch, his spirit heavy with despair. He cried out to God, not in prayer but in anguish. "Why does this hurt so much? Why can't I let go?" In that moment, a vision came to him. He saw himself standing in a dark room, chains wrapped around his wrists and ankles. The chains were connected to Lilith, who stood at the center of the room, her eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Surrounding her were shadowy figures, the Jezebel spirits whispering lies into her ears and feeding off Adrian's energy. Then, a voice spoke, gentle but firm. "Adrian, these chains are not real. They are illusions, created by fear and manipulation. You have the power to break them, but first, you must see the truth." The vision shifted, and Adrian saw himself surrounded by light. The chains began to dissolve, one by one, as he repeated the words, "I am worthy of love and respect. I release all ties that do not serve my highest good." When the vision ended, Adrian felt a surge of clarity. He realized that his relationship with Lilith was not love but a battlefield, and he had been fighting a war he could never win. The Jezebel spirit thrived on his willingness to sacrifice himself, and the only way to break free was to reclaim his power. The next day, Adrian confronted Lilith. He spoke with calm resolve, his voice steady despite the storm inside him. "I can't do this anymore," he said. "This isn't love, it's control, and I won't let it define me anymore." Lilith's response was sharp and cutting, her words designed to wound. But Adrian stood firm, his heart shielded by the truth he had uncovered. He walked away, severing the soul ties that had bound him to her and the Jezebel spirit. In the weeks that followed, Adrian focused on healing. He sought guidance from a spiritual mentor, who helped him cleanse his energy and reinforce his boundaries. He reconnected with friends and family, rebuilding the relationships Lilith had strained. And most importantly, he reconnected with himself, rediscovering the joy and creativity that had been stifled for so long. As for Lilith, her life spiraled into chaos. Without Adrian's light to feed on, the Jezebel spirit abandoned her, leaving her to face the emptiness she had tried to fill with manipulation and control. Her journey became one of reckoning, a painful but necessary path toward self-awareness and redemption. Months later, Adrian met a woman named Sophia. Their connection was gentle and nurturing, a stark contrast to the intensity he had known with Lilith. Sophia was a mirror of his highest self, reflecting back the love and respect he had learned to give himself. Together, they built a relationship rooted in mutual growth and divine alignment. Adrian's story became a testament to the power of discernment and self-love. He learned that breaking free from the chains of Jezebel influence wasn't just about leaving a toxic relationship. It was about reclaiming his worth, honoring his boundaries and aligning with the divine truth within him.